Vladimir Putin has managed to spark concern around the globe yet again. His recent trip to Asia, the embrace of North Korea and deal-making with Vietnam could potentially lead to more problems in a region already strained by disputes over Taiwan and South China Sea. To discuss, I'm joined by Ryszard Zalski, Asia expert, National Radio podcast host. Good morning, sir. Delighted to have you with us.
Good morning. Thank you very much.
All right, so let's perhaps start with reactions to what unfolded in Asia, namely a nervous reaction from the US to the deal signing between North Korea and Russia. Do you think that these concerns are justified? Because we already saw the cooperation between the two nations earlier, right? So what has changed?
Yes, we had angry reactions both from the US side, also the European Union was not happy with it, but the West has to adjust to the new reality, which means that actually Putin's tour in Asia makes the West look really weak, because he went to North Korea, where he definitely strengthened his military cooperation. He also visited Vietnam, where it was more about trade. So I have to add, the European Union was trying to send an envoy to Vietnam to discuss sanctions, but the Vietnamese wouldn't even receive him, which all shows us that those sanctions, punishments, and condemnation from the West is getting weaker and weaker. It has less and less of an effect on Asian countries.
Right, so Vladimir Putin intends to launch LNG projects in Vietnam, and I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the South China Sea, how there's this exclusive economic zone exploited by Russia, and then China would consider that area its own, right, the entirety of South China Sea. So do you see a potential conflict between Russia and China over Russian-Vietnamese cooperation? I mean, how is that relationship between the three is going to play out?
Yeah, that's a fantastic point that you just mentioned, because most experts, they don't really see it this way. But exactly, that's the major advantage for Vietnam, is one, to show that it has options. Last year, the country was visited by Chairman Xi, by President Biden, now by President Putin. And one of the reasons why they need President Putin is exactly this conflict, this problem they have in the South China Sea. Because as of now, Russian companies are helping with the extraction of oil. Now, the Vietnamese government is concerned that as a result of Russia's growing dependence on China, Beijing could use its leverage with Moscow to undermine Vietnamese interests. So one of the reasons why they welcome Putin with red carpet and really with 21 gun salutes is because they want the Russian companies to stay in the South China Sea and keep extracting. And if you ask me about the conflict, I don't think there would be a conflict because of that between Russia and China. I don't think it's really another flashpoint in Asia, not between those two countries.
Right, I meant sort of a conflict of interest. Great, thank you for clarifying that. And let me now ask you about sort of Russia trying to, of course, we can see that Russia is trying to increase its influence in Asia as the US-China relationship is deteriorating, and so is China-EU relationship. So whose fault is that? Is it EU and the US alienating China with tariffs and trade issues, right, trade concerns here, or is it China which is removing itself from the Western sphere of influence?
Yeah, that's another great point. We have a very clear example that Western policies are failing, because what do we have? On one hand, we have the manufacturing in Asia. I'm talking now, let's say, about the BRICS countries. We have manufacturing from China, the resources from the Middle East, plus infrastructure projects. And what do we have from the West? Basically, the US dollar, which is also getting weaker and weaker since last week. It's not already even a petrodollar. We have the EU market, which delivers almost nothing, is basically a customer for Asian products. And as I just mentioned with Vietnam, is not even really treated as a partner. So in my opinion, this all shows that the Biden policies are failing and that the EU has less and less to offer, because all the production manufacturing is in Asia. And slowly, after at least 2 decades of talking about this, slowly the center of Europe, of the global economy and politics, is shifting to the Pacific. That's exactly what we are seeing now.
Sir, and Andrzej Duda is on a visit to China as we speak. Do you expect any significant developments from this visit?
For Poland, maybe if he gets a visa waiver like other European countries. One of the issues he might discuss is the behavior of Belarus, and in particular the hybrid attacks against Poland with the help of illegal immigrants. So that's one of the topics he mentioned he would discuss. There is another thing that might also be discussed, the supply of goods to Europe via Belarus, because there is 2 railroads, one through Ukraine, which is now not operational, and the other one through Belarus, which kind of doesn't operate either, but it might. So that's the one interest that China might have, to improve the relations with Poland and Belarus, so the goods can come through Belarus and arrive in the European Union. So these are the major issues. He will be meeting tomorrow Chairman Xi Jinping. He will be seeing also Premier Li Qiang and Zhao Leji, the chairman of the National People's Congress. He would also attend the Dalian Economic Forum and have a speech at the Fudan University. So it's kind of a very rich program during his visit from the 22nd to 26th.
A packed schedule indeed. I guess we'll have to wait and see what comes out of it. Ryszard Zalski, thank you, sir, for being with us this morning.
Thank you very much.
President Andrzej Duda is on a 5-day state visit to China. During his trip, the Polish head of state is to meet with China's President Xi Jinping. Does this indicate a re-engagement between the CEE region and China? Will the Polish president be able to sway his so-called friend in joining the West against Russia? To discuss, I am being joined by my next guest, Piotr Plebaniak, sociologist and author. Good morning, sir.
Good morning and good afternoon.
Great having you on. Okay, so let's start by unpacking what is on Andrzej Duda's agenda and what is he trying to achieve.
In Poland we have 2 different political allegiances. One is to Germany, as Poland is collaborating with European Union, and especially German economy with all production of all industrial products. And second, this is like a coalition, citizenship coalition. And the second one is law and justice political party, which is aligned to United States. That's the general understanding. And now the president, who comes from the law and justice party, is speaking. He's going to speak with Chinese government, and I'm perfectly sure that that will be about war in Ukraine, because China might tip the balance of power on influence on battlefields between Russia and Ukraine and NATO countries which support Ukraine. And this is extremely delicate moment, because no one wants to lose the war and lose face at the same time. So I'm pretty sure that will be negotiation, which is number 1 in the itinerary of President Duda.
Right, but I mean, why would President Duda manage to make a difference if senior European officials such as Ursula von der Leyen or, let's say, Emmanuel Macron, I mean, everyone spoke with Xi Jinping, also Joe Biden, Antony Blinken, you name it, about the crisis in the war in Ukraine. So why would Andrzej Duda make a difference?
It's impossible to learn, of course, because that kind of information is restricted, and general public should not be aware under any circumstances about that, because this is these issues are serious. So There are two possibilities. First, Duda is representing some unofficial channels from United States and trying to pass messages and proposals, peace proposals, to China, and China will pass them on to Russia. That's option number one. Option number two, Poland, as important part of European Union, will try to bargain a deal between European Union and China, especially about duties for electric cars imported from China and other economical issues between, like, related to trade between China and United Europe, and which one of those two, or maybe both together at the same time, we really don't know. We can guess, as always.
Right. It is a very unfortunate thing with these tariffs just ahead of President Duda's visit, right? I mean, but they're going to be introduced in July, if I'm not mistaken, if nothing changes. Now, let me ask you about Polish interests, because I've read that poultry producers have high hopes. Some people are talking about visa-free travel to China. So what can be achieved on that front, on sort of regarding Poland's own interests?
Based on my analysis for my book I'm writing right now about China's security issues, the topic number one would be food security. China would be very, very willing to buy any quantity of food as possible for long-term cooperation. And also Poland, as an important food producer, is the perfect partner for that kind of business. So I'm pretty sure if President Duda would choose to expand Polish interests in China, Polish financial and economical interests, that would be very important topic. Second is this, as you mentioned, visa-free travel to China. That will be very interesting issue. However, as far as I know, it's like a two-week visa-free stay. That's what's on the table, and that kind of solutions are already working for other countries. So that would be an status increase for Poland. Very, very important aspect of our international relations. Let's hope that our president will succeed.
The most important meetings ahead of Andrzej Duda, they're happening tomorrow, I believe, with the meeting with Xi Jinping. So let's wait and see. Piotr Plebaniak, thank you, sir, for being with us this morning.
Thank you, too.